Dear viewers, welcome to our channel on practical project management. Today we'll be talking about 3 common mistakes that are done by NGOs or projects when executing project tasks or activities. These are mistakes that I've seen over 20 years of my experience on working in health, water sanitation and hygiene, inclusive education, and prevention of prevention and control of blindness. So, what are these 3 mistakes? If you have just joined our channel, we kindly ask you to subscribe. And if you are revisiting our channel, please share our channel with other colleagues so that we can learn together, but also so that they can follow along. So, what are these 3 mistakes? Mistake number 1, we call ignoring the sector engagement. What is sector engagement? Sector engagement refers to all activities that are organized at the sector level. It can be at the regional level, district level, or national level. It can be experience sharing meetings, technical working groups, or policy dialogue. All these are what we call sector events. So the participation in the sector events depends on the thematic areas in which the organization is working on. It can be working on health or education or agriculture or water sanitation and hygiene, you name it. So all these are what we call the sector engagement. These are key events which each organization or a project is supposed to take part for the sake of learning, for the sake of participating in making key decisions, but also sharing experiences, best practices, and the lessons that have been generated from the work on the ground. However, we find that some of NGOs or some of projects do not take part in these key sector events. So, what happens? What are the consequences if one is not participating in the sector events? Well, one of the consequences is the low organization visibility. The organization becomes invisible, becomes unknown, simply because it does not engage itself or it does not take part in these key events to share experience, to learn, but also to become part and parcel in the decision-making process at the sector level. But then there is other consequence, which is missed partnership and collaboration. We all know that partnership development and collaboration developments are made when people come together, because that provides opportunity to know each other and to learn on what one organization is doing and the possible areas of collaboration. So if you do not participate, or if the organization does not participate in such meetings, it misses the opportunity to develop partnership and collaboration, opportunity to develop project proposals, opportunities to identify funders. And apart from that, the organization becomes or miss to influence the policy at the sector level. So these are the consequences that we see if organization or projects do not take part in the sector events activities. What is mistake number 2? Mistake number 2, or before I jump into mistake number 2, perhaps let's talk what can be done in order to solve this problem. Well, one thing that can be done is to ensure that the organization institutionalize the sector engagement, makes sector engagement as part and parcel of its activities. Where possible, the organization or the projects need to have a sector, needs to have a unit that is dealing with policy and sector engagement. If this is not possible, then the organization may also designate a responsible person to be in charge of the sector engagement activities, meaning becoming a bridge between the organization and the sector at large. So what is the second mistake that organizations or NGOs do make, or projects do make, is what we call the top-down project design. It has become very common now to see that most projects are designed at the top and they are dropped down for implementation or execution at the community level. Key stakeholders, including the community or the government at various levels, have limited participation in the development and the design of the project idea. This is a problem that we see in most cases, and sometimes we see this as a donor-driven priorities. So this is a problem that we see on the ground. What are the results if most of the projects are designed at the top and there is limited participation of the community or key stakeholders in the creation of the project? One of the consequences is weak ownership by beneficiaries. Because beneficiaries have not been involved in the creation, in the formulation of the project, their ownership becomes weak. They don't find a stake in owning the project. But also, the other result or the other consequence is poor alignment with the national priorities. We all know that the government or the nation have the priorities for a given duration of period. Maybe 5 years duration, they have priorities. But then we find that there is misalignment between what the project is doing and the national priorities, because the project have not engaged the government or the nation in the formulation of the projects, and therefore they miss issues that need to be integrated into the national priorities, or issues that need to be integrated in the formulation of projects. And the other consequence is low sustainability after the projects come to an end. When the project comes to an end, everything ends there, simply because no one is interested. What is the third mistake?